Today, I saw The Mandalorian and Grogu. I don't know why. I don't know why I saw it. I felt somehow that I was just inevitably going to have to succumb to curiosity, even though my curiosity wasn't really like, I just had to go somehow. I just felt that I had to go and see it because once upon a time, a long time ago in a galaxy far, well, not in a galaxy far, far away, but a long time ago, I was a Star Wars fan. I was a huge Star Wars fan. Haven't been for the last 10 years or so, with a couple of exceptions, but Disney Star Wars, you know, big time. Not a fan of the sequel trilogy. And on. You've heard me talk about this before. I'm not going to go on too much about that. So I saw the Mandalorian and Grogu. It was really, really mediocre. It was okay. It wasn't awful, but I wasn't going to talk about it because I at first I thought, what do I have to say about this movie that's really interesting at all? And then I realized there was something that was interesting. And it's this trend. It relates to this trend that I guess I believe we're seeing more of lately that I don't like. And I'll spoil something about the movie. Well, it's not really even that much of a spoiler, but it doesn't even matter whether I spoil it or not, because I mean, it's not that great. I mean, it's not that great a movie. And I don't know anyone who's really claiming otherwise. But there's a character, okay, everybody remembers Jabba the Hutt. Everybody knows Jabba the Hutt. Whether you know Star Wars or not, you know Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt is an iconic sort of character. What is Jabba the Hutt known for? For being absolutely disgusting. Just being this disgusting creature. Just big, this big fat blob. And he's, disgusting, and his personality is disgusting as well. He's sleazy, he's gross, he's, he is cunning and all that. And he has great lines like, "You're my kind of scum." but yeah, so Jabba the Hutt is disgusting, and his whole race is disgusting. Like, the Hutts are disgusting creatures. Okay, and that was the reality until now, because in this latest Disney Star Wars film, we have the character Rata the Hutt, who's the son of Jabba, but he doesn't want to be like his dad. He's a nice creature. He's a nice Hutt. He doesn't want to be like his dad. And it's like this. I didn't really think about this at the time, but now since I've been thinking about this lately, it's like you can't just have an entire race of beings just be gross and disgusting and repellent and all that. Like, in the Star Wars world, the Hutts were disgusting people. They were gangsters, they were criminals, they were fat and bloated and gluttonous, and and also ruthless and evil, and that's just the way they were, and that was okay. Like, you could, and also there was a foreignness to them. Like, if you don't know, even if you don't know Star Wars, you probably know the Jabba the Hutt language. and the language that he speaks, the fact that he has this um, that's my pig Huttese there. The fact that he talks that way, that he sounds foreign, that you have to look at subtitles to see the translation, that adds to the whole mystique of Jabba as this disgusting and fearsome, like disgusting, but also very like intimidating, like big, somebody who would crush you, somebody who would make you his slave, and then just have his way with you. I mean, and not feel any conscience at all. And that's just like that's the Hutt. That is what a Hutt is. Okay, that's what Jabba the Hutt is. He's representative of his people, of his race. But now in this latest movie, you've got a nice Hutt. You've got Rota the Hutt, and granted, his uncle and aunt are also disgusting and repellent, just like Jabba was. But Rota the Hutt is a nice Hutt, and not only that, he's a gladiator. He goes into the ring and he fights other creatures. Can you imagine a creature like Jabba? Like, yes, he's intimidating, but he's morbidly obese, and that's sort of just how they're built. Okay, but this Rota the Hutt guy, he's like a gladiator, and he thinks he wants to carve his own path and become his own man. I mean, like, it just struck me, over the last few minutes as I've been walking here in this tropical paradise that you see behind me, that why does every, like, there was a time when a certain race of beings was just irredeemable in science fiction, and they were foreign. But I should add this. We hear Rota the Hutt talking in English. He speaks English. So he's saying all these humble things like, I don't want to be like my father. I want to be my own man. And I'm fighting in the ring right now, and then I'll be free after the person who has me now under contract. He'll have to let me go, and I'll be free, and I can live my own life, and I won't have to live like the kind of life my father lived. And it's like, just there's something about it. Shows that we've gotten to be pussies. I mean, it shows the extent to which, like, there no matter, like, even if a being who is the representative of his race, i.e. Jabba the Hutt, even if there's nothing redeemable about him, it's like, oh no, it's possible for the Hutts to be good too. The Hutts can be good. There can be good Hutts. Don't be prejudiced against the Hutts. There's something in that that's just really irksome, but I mean, it's small potatoes next to everything else that's been wrong, all the other ways in which they've messed up the franchise. But it is something that just kind of struck me. And they even in the 90s, this was sort of starting, because they did this on Star Trek: The Next Generation. They did this with the Borg. If you watch that show, if you can remember, the Borg they weren't like the Hutts. They weren't disgusting, but they were these cyber beings, like these sort of man-machine collectives, and they would go around saying, "You will be assimilated," and you know, they were cool, but they were like just ruthless and evil, and they just would take everything over and make it into them. And that was what gave them the mystique. That was what made them cool villains. Even though calling them the Borg is kind of, I think there was a line in one of the movies where somebody says, "Oh, that sounds Swedish," you know. So there's a little bit, things get too self-aware at some point, and but I remember there being an episode with on Next Generation where they capture a Borg boy, and he's like, and then he becomes like Edward Scissorhands. He's like, oh, he's separated from his race, and but you know he doesn't know how to behave. He's so frightened, and it's like, okay, so now we're supposed to sympathize with this Borg, this Borg boy. Whereas the Borg, what made the Borg cool and interesting was that they were villainous through and through, just like with the Hutts in Star Wars. But I think it's just because we have to because I mean, obviously we've got these prohibitions, you know, political correctness happened for reasons it didn't just happen, but it happened. It didn't just happen by accident, but that's a subject for a different discussion, one that I'm not going to go into here. But it since we had political correctness and wokeness and so forth, we can't have beings or races of beings in science fiction who are just evil through and through, and who just disgust us and repel us, or who just are so absolutely, you know, machine-like and ruthless, like the Borg. We have to have some like, even in the 90s, whenever this episode came, whenever that kind of violated, to me, the whole, oh, the Borg are like that. When we had this, oh, this cute little Borg boy, and then I guess there was another. Now that I'm thinking about it, there's another show with a hot Borg lady, right? Where there was that blonde. There's that super hot blonde woman who was a Borg or an ex-Borg, 7 of 9. So yeah, so that's a similar example to what I'm talking about. But this is like, this to me is more egregious. I think having a Hutt, a nice guy Hutt, is just kind of, I don't know. In addition to everything else that's gone wrong with the franchise, it's just kind of stupid. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think.